When Shredder's Revenge released in 2022, I was hopeful the team would tackle other beloved 90s beat-em-ups, like The Simpsons, X-Men, and Captain America and the Avengers, some of my favorites. Fortunately for me, Tribute Games basically took care of two of the three with Marvel Cosmic Invasion. From the moment I saw trailers for this game, I knew I had to play it. 4-player arcade-style beat-em-up gameplay with a modern roster of Marvel heroes and the same pixel art graphics that made Shredder's Revenge so charming is a formula for success that I couldn't ignore. I've played Marvel Cosmic Invasion across Steam, Switch 1, and Switch 2. In this case, those last two are really important, as there's no upgrade path from Switch 1 to Switch 2, and your save file won't carry over. Performance-wise, Switch 1 and 2 are about the same, though Switch 2 looks noticeably sharper in docked mode, and game share is available over local wireless on Nintendo's latest hardware. Just like Shredder's Revenge, you can also invite players to join over crossplay, and it works flawlessly. I was able to play between my Switch 2 and Steam Deck without issues by sharing a party code, and the sessions I played ran without issue. Unlike its predecessor, however, Marvel Cosmic Invasion lets you build teams of 2 characters per player, meaning with a full 4-player setup, you can bring 8 heroes with you at a time. You can switch between your 2 heroes with the push of a button, or call your partner in for a quick assist reminiscent of the Marvel vs. Capcom games. In fact, the inspiration from these games runs deep. Characters like Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Venom feel more than a little inspired by Capcom's representations of them. I mean, just look at Spider-Man's stance and tell me that isn't influenced by his fighting game appearances. Fighting game influence aside, I'm really impressed by the breadth of the roster here. Familiar staples like Wolverine are flanked by lesser-known characters like Fela Vel and Beta Ray Bill. At launch, 15 characters are available, and each of them have a unique playstyle. She-Hulk, who's my favorite by the way, is a brawler similar to Mike Hagar, with some wrestling-inspired moves like an elbow drop and a drop kick, where characters like Nova and Storm are better at area of effect style attacks that deal less damage but take up more screen space. There are beginner-friendly characters like Captain America and Iron Man who can deal moderate damage, and more technical roster additions like Rocket Raccoon and Cosmic Ghost Rider. Just about every character has a unique mechanic, which is great considering this is a game designed for multiple playthroughs. Together, these characters are set to battle against Annihilus, a Marvel villain you might not have heard of. I know I didn't, and that's why I enlisted the help of Marvel superfan and GVG community member Amagish to fill in the gaps in my knowledge. Cosmic Invasion adapts the events of the 2000s comic book event Annihilation, which centers around the ruler of the Negative Zone's attempt to destroy everything in existence. Tribute Games' take on Annihilation takes the battle to places not seen during this arc of the comics, and adds heroes that weren't present while omitting some that were, like Drax, which is a bit of a letdown considering other key characters to the original storyline like Nova and Phyla Vel are front and center. Despite being an early 2000s comic book plotline, Tribute appears to have chosen to use the most iconic versions of each hero for the game, like Iron Man's modular armor from the 90s, Storm and Wolverine's Jim Lee suits, and Black Panther and Rocket's more MCU-inspired looks. Tribute's adaptation of the comic series lends itself well to a beat-em-up as you travel across the Marvel universe, taking down both friends and foes alike ensnared by Annihilus. In campaign mode, the game's primary mode, you can level up your heroes as you battle through the 15 levels on offer. Each level will suggest 2 heroes to take with you, as they're tied to the narrative and the optional challenges presented for that stage. On my first solo playthrough, I found this to be a bit frustrating to stick to, however. Early on it's fine, as the enemies are weak and your characters aren't yet leveled up, but toward the later part of the game, these objectives were a bit more difficult than I would have liked, given I was working with characters that were new and hadn't earned any of the HP or focus buffs my more seasoned heroes had. Coupled with an ever-growing amount of environmental hazards to deal with in the game's later stages, I started to feel fatigue set in as I tried to complete all the optional challenges on my first playthrough. But once I abandoned this and gave in to the idea that I'd be playing through the campaign more than once, and especially once I played in multiplayer, that fatigue disappeared entirely. The essence of an arcade-style beat-em-up is in playing with friends after all. Once I started playing it the way I would an arcade game, not worrying so much about the challenges and just playing with the characters I wanted, I found a lot more to love. This isn't to say there isn't any value in doing those challenges, however. Completing challenges and finding hidden cubes and stages gives you currency to unlock items in the Cosmic Matrix. In The Matrix, you'll find music tracks, additional color palettes for your heroes, info files, and modifiers for arcade mode, which contains the same stages from campaign mode, albeit without the requirement of completing every single stage, instead allowing you to choose a single branch to follow at various points. Marvel Cosmic Invasion is a short game, weighing in at just a handful of hours to play through, and about 8 to 10 if you want to do a completionist run including all of the challenges. This game isn't about a long time, it's about a good time, and Cosmic Invasion delivers on that. That's why I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Just as with Tribute's game's last major beat-em-up, I'll be playing through this for months to come as my friends pick up copies of the game. If you're nostalgic for the arcade games of the 90s, this is another one you can't miss.
Iron cannon. Repulsor blast.